welcome all of you. It's a great pleasure for me to host you at the University of Warsaw. My name is Kamil Zajączkowski. I'm Director of Center for Europe, University of Warsaw. Welcome our distinguished guests from Montenegro, from North Macedonia, and of course from the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Poland. At the beginning, I'd like to welcome Mr. Rafał Domisiewicz, Deputy Director of the European Policy Department, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Poland. Welcome. Welcome our great friend, Mr. Wojciech Tyciński, former ambassador in Montenegro. And welcome our friends from Montenegro and North Macedonia. Welcome the leader of North Macedonia team, Professor Goran Ilic. Professor Goran Ilic is Vice Rector of University of St. Clement Ochrydzki in Bitola. Welcome the leader of the Montenegrin team, Professor Mehmedin Tahirovic. Ladies and gentlemen, this conference is a part of the international project which is carried out and supported by Minister of Foreign Affairs within the competition Public Diplomacy 2023. So it's a great pleasure for me to welcome our friends from Minister of Foreign Affairs. It is not our first time when we met, when we discussed. So last year we did the similar project with our friends from Balkans states. In this year also, and I hope that next year also we'll have opportunity to carry out similar project. The project consists of different activities. So a few weeks ago we were in Podgorica. Few weeks ago we were in Bitola, and this conference, it is a final activity in framework of our conference, of our project. And of course, the last point of this project will be publication, which will be issued in around 20 December. So I think the cooperation with Western Balkan states is very important for us, for the Center for Europe, for the University of Warsaw, and sorry for not being here Vice Rector and Rector of University of Warsaw, because both of men are unfortunately ill. Probably they have COVID. Unfortunately, COVID-19 come back to Poland, to Warsaw, and unfortunately, they will not come to our conference. So, I hope that this conference will be fruitful for all of us, and now it's a great pleasure, and I give floor to Mr. Rafał Domisiewicz, who is a Deputy Director of European Policy Department, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Poland. Mr. Director, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Professor, and good morning. Distinguished professors, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to thank you for invitation to take part in today's conference. It is an honor to me, for me to be taking part amongst this distinguished group of scholars and to participate in an initiative that brings together representatives of the academic community of Poland, Montenegro, and North Macedonia. It's a pleasure to take part in an event that not only addresses one of the key challenges our countries face, namely disinformation, but also because it is a valuable initiative to strengthen people-to-people contacts and bonds between our not only academic communities, but civil societies at large. So for this reason, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has been happy to support this project. And we look forward to the output of these proceedings. I am pleased that this conference brings together universities from Poland and countries of the Western Balkans, because Western Balkans is a region that holds a special place in Polish foreign policy. Supporting the Euro-Atlantic aspirations of the countries of the region enjoys bipartisan support in Poland, and therefore is a consistent feature of Polish foreign policy. Support for the Western Balkans' Euro-Atlantic aspirations has been, remains, and shall remain a strong feature of Polish foreign policy. The support for the Western Balkans is in line with our preference for EU enlargement in both directions, southern and eastern. For us, EU enlargement is not a zero-sum game. We support EU accession of the Western Balkan countries just as much as we support the accession to the EU of countries in our eastern neighborhood, especially Ukraine. I would like to assure you that our approach, therefore, to Eastern Europe has never been in competition with our Western Balkans approach. The integration of Western Balkans into the EU shall remain a priority for Poland. It is for this reason that we have warmly welcomed the formation of a new government in Podgorica just last month, and we hope it will jumpstart much needed reforms process to allow Montenegro to join the EU. I've had a pleasure to meet with the Chargé d'Affaires of Montenegro here in Warsaw, and I expressed my strong support for the integration of Montenegro into the EU, and I was very encouraged by the steps taken recently by Montenegro, for example, the completion of the composition of the Constitutional Court, which is actually in line with the judicial reforms that are necessary for Montenegro to fulfill the standards and criteria expected by the EU. So, action speaks louder than words. Poland's commitment to the Western Balkans is reflected in many ways. First of all, we have a long-standing participation of our military and police personnel in missions and operations in the Western Balkans. As we speak, there are about 400 military and police personnel active in a region from Poland. So we support NATO and EU activities in the region. We have been large contributors to development assistance in the region, both bilaterally and also the support that we give to this conference is an expression of that strong funding commitment to the region, but also multilaterally, particularly through the Berlin process instruments and other instruments as well. Last year, when Poland held the presidency of the OSCE, our foreign minister visited every single country in the region, which attests to the strong commitment of Poland to the Western Balkans. Finally, the Foreign Ministry, as such, organizes every year the so-called Enlargement Academy. I was very privileged to speak to a group of diplomats from the Western Balkans and to pass on Poland's lessons learned and experience in our integration process. As we speak, there's a beehive of activity in Brussels. The European Commission, as you know, has presented its opinion on the ongoing integration process. It has provided evaluation of how North Macedonia and Montenegro have fared in their reforms, and we are working towards the December meeting of the European Council, which will make key decisions on the EU enlargement process. And I'm very privileged to be part of the process of providing instructions for our delegates in the Brussels working groups that are drafting, as we speak, the conclusions of the European Council. As you know, the Commission has also launched recently the new growth plan for the Western Balkans, worth 6 billion euros. It will also provide a much needed boost to reforms. We hope that it will incentivize change, it will spur the formation of a common regional market on the way to the integration of the economies of the Western Balkans with the single European market. We hope that the upcoming summit between the EU and the Western Balkans, also in Brussels, scheduled for the 13th of December, will also be an opportunity to send a strong signal to the countries of the Western Balkans of our commitment to the integration of the region. One of the things which we value very strongly and we expect of the countries that are aspiring to join the EU is the alignment of their foreign policies with the common foreign and security policy of the European Union. And we've been encouraged, for example, by 100% alignment of the Montenegro government with CFSP, particularly with regard to the restrictive measures imposed on Russia. This is an extremely valuable effort. Same thing, we also appreciate the strong support by Skopje in this regard. Finally, I would like to briefly touch on the topic of this discussion today. Disinformation remains a key challenge, not only for the Western Balkans, but also for Poland and other countries of the European Union. The spread of disinformation is a serious political problem. Interference in our democratic processes is not only a phenomenon encountered in the Western Balkans, it is a phenomenon encountered across the Western world. Disinformation and propaganda have been identified as a serious threat to democratic processes and citizens' trust in representative democracy. Poland has made great strides in identifying and trying to counter Russian disinformation, and I'm sure you will hear more from experts who are well versed in this topic. The countries in the region know very well that they have also been targeted by disinformation and hybrid threats. I need not remind everyone, of course, that Montenegro has been on the brink of active measures by the Russian, by people affiliated with the Russian authorities, of course. So the enlargement of the EU and even more so of NATO has been an eyesore for Moscow, and for this reason we have seen increased spread of hybrid threats and disinformation. We are all vulnerable, but we are not defenseless. We can learn from each other and we can strengthen our cooperation. And I'm happy that this conversation at today's conference will also contribute to the exchange of lessons learned. Poland also supports the disinformation task force of the European External Action Service, which looks at also supporting the efforts of your countries. We are pleased that Montenegro has developed recently the Western Balkans Center for Cyber Capacities. And I can happily tell you that we are exploring possibilities to contribute to that center, to that initiative as well in Podgorica. So without further ado, I would like to wish you very fruitful proceedings. Thank you once again for having me, and all the very best. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Director. It is very important for us, for University of Warsaw, to cooperate with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and like I said, we are very happy because we can cooperate with the Minister of Foreign Affairs since 2 years, and 2 years ago we got a first project, and step by step we developed our cooperation with our Western Balkans. So thanks a lot for your support, for your great speech, and I hope in next year also we can meet in the same building during the final conference. So the topic, like Mr. Domisiewicz said, is very important. Disinformation is one of the key challenges for all of us. Not only for Poland, not only for the Western Balkans, but it is for the EU and also for our students. So I think we must fight about truth, about what we want to learn and how we can learn our students, our communities, because disinformation is a most important tools in the hand of Putin or Mr. Xi, because China China also very often use this kind of tools. Okay, so now I ask Professor Goran Ilic for introduction remarks. Goran is our very good leader in North Macedonia, and the floor is yours, Goran.
Thank you very much. Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear director, dear Mr. Rafal Domišević, representative of Ministry of Foreign Affairs, dear Professor Tehirović, dear ambassador, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. In my personal capacity and on behalf of the rector of the University St. Clement Ohridski in Bitola, Professor Igor Nedeljkovski, I would like to extend our heartfelt greetings. It is both an honor and privilege to stand before you today as we embark our journey to explore the invaluable insights that the Polish experience in combating disinformation offers to the Western Balkans. This endeavor is not just a conference, it is a collective effort to strengthen the foundations of truth, transparency and democratic resilience in our interconnected and globalized world. This great initiative is a public task generously supported by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Poland within the Grand Competition Public Diplomacy 2023. I extend my gratitude to the visionary support provided by the Center for Europe at the University of Warsaw in collaboration with many international partners. Your dedication underscores the spirit of cooperation and the shared commitment to addressing the challenges of disinformation. In the light of enduring collaboration and fostering brotherly relations, the partnership between Center for Europe and the University St. Clement Ohridski in Bitola stands as a testament to the shared commitment to academic excellence and cultural exchange. The brotherly relations between these institutions go beyond academic pursuits, emphasizing the importance of cultural exchange and the people-to-people connections. As we continue to navigate the complexities of the modern world, the Center for Europe and the University St. Clement Ohridski amplify the power of collaboration in creating a more interconnected and harmonious academic community. In a world where information travels faster than even before, disinformation has emerged as a formidable advisory to democratic processes, social cohesion, and international relations. Through a combination of governmental initiatives, academic research, and civil society engagement, Poland has cultivated a multidimensional approach that has yielded tangible results. As we delve into the lessons learned and the best practices from the Polish experience, we have the opportunity to adapt and implement strategies that resonate with the unique challenges faced by the Western Balkans. The Western Balkans, with its rich history and diverse cultures, stands at a critical juncture in its journey towards stability, prosperity, and integration into the European Union. It is our shared responsibility to fortify the region against the corrosive effects of disinformation, which can erode trust, sow discord, and hinder the progress. By learning from the experience of Poland, we can tailor effective counter-disinformation measures that align with the specific needs and dynamics of the Western Balkans. Let us seize this opportunity for collaboration, knowledge exchange, and mutual understanding. Together, we can turn the tide against disinformation, ensuring that the values of truth, democracy, and open discourse prevail. Thank you very much, and I look forward to the fruitful discussions and collaborations that will undoubtedly emerge from our time spent together. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Professor Goran Ilic. And now the floor is for Professor Mehmedin Tahirovic from the University of Donja Gorica. And it is one of the biggest, and I think it is the biggest private university in Montenegro, and is the leader team from Montenegro. So, please, the floor is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, Director of Center for Europe, Mr. Domišević from Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and of course my colleague Professor Goran Ilic, Ambassador Taczynski. It's my pleasure to be here in Warsaw on this final conference, in this process. Before, when I was visiting professor from Montenegro here in Warsaw in May, 7 days, I had the opportunity to visit your department. And we told also with Ambassador Taczynski, unfortunately we didn't have the opportunity to meet each other when you were there in Montenegro because I was in shape in NATO at that time. But I saw that your experience is very useful for a new director, and I recognize from this speech that you know a lot about Montenegro. Thank you very much for very good words, for optimistic messages, and of course for promise that you will be support Montenegro in a future time, as well as North Macedonia. It's my pleasure to have the opportunity to cooperate with Center for Europe on this project. It's really very important to change the experience. We have together enemy in Europe here. As a person who had a mixed career, military, police, forces, and diplomatic research and professor, I recognize a lot of challenges in this moment for our states and of course for our, I would like to say, our together community, NATO community and EU community. As a youngest partners to the NATO, Montenegro and North Macedonia, and of course similar our situation in our states on the Western Balkans, it's my pleasure to have the opportunity to meet Mr. Goran Ilic, Vice Rector from North Macedonia, but it's a destiny over our friend from Center for Europe and Ministry of Foreign Affairs from Poland. It is the sign that is community functioning. And of course I would like to say that we are in Montenegro had poor institutions and we need support. We had, after 30 years, changing the government to Montenegro, and many things now, it's not good in a function. We are received a new government, very optimistic, with young professional people, and I hope that we will continue the very intensive integration to the European Union. As you know, we are leaders in the European integration to the Western Balkans, but we need really to work together if we like to find a solution against Russian engagement to the Western Balkans. I told in my speech before here in Warsaw 4 months ago that Russia will find the reserve region to move any new conflict. And that time I said that it's possible to be Caucasus, Middle East, or Balkans. Unfortunately for us, the Vladimir Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, a couple of days ago said that next conflict probably, according to the intention, Putin will be Western Balkans. And more unfortunately is that European Commission agreed with him, and after that immediately General Secretary of NATO visited the region, and he was in Skopje there and met with all the president of the governments. I will explain more about during my presentation about the problems in Montenegro and of course in the Western Balkans, but my intention is to ask you to support us in a future time. And the Together projects really is useful for us, especially for Montenegro and for North Macedonia. We saw in Belgrade, they don't a lot interested for implementing this project. I don't know. They know better why. But we are really interested for that. Thank you very much again. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. So, ladies and gentlemen, so the opening ceremony is over. Thanks a lot, Mr. Domisiewicz, Mr. Wojciech Tyciński. And now I invite you for first panel, which will be about Russia, disinformation and the war in Ukraine, fake news in Poland and the Balkans. So 1 minute technical break and 1 maybe photo, and in 1 minute we started our good, I hope, and fruitful job. So thanks a lot.
Yes.